public transport, use their own transportation? Just let us know.
Fine, but I will look at the aspect of women driving.
Okay, go on.
All right, because it's more of concern to us because you know the gender. Yes, it took time for women to start sitting behind the wheels,
True.
but the men for long they have been in the business of driving, and based on experience, women are still learning
Okay.
how to drive on the road. But there are issues that come up. Mostly is attitudinal.
Okay.
Yes, attitudinal in the sense that there are some women that drive with ego,
Okay.
right? Based on the position of their husbands or who might have been responsible for their driving, right? And then you see them driving on the red, that's beating traffic light. You see them using phone while driving,
Okay.
right? Even some of them you see as if they want to start chatting, reading text messages. These are all destructive elements in driving, and which normally result to crashes. And then the other aspect is they always neglect their children. They carry children on their laps while they are still driving.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
that's why the UN Decade of Action talks about child restraint, talks about generally road users' safety. Road user is anybody that uses the road, whether driving or even pedestrian. How will people be secured safely on the road? Put child safety devices, they will not, right? And then you see children, sometimes they will be behind, and then they will be standing behind them. In case of emergency, if they must break, just imagine what will happen. Those children will be out of the vehicle through the front windshield, front glass, and that's the end of it. That's why we said child restraint should be order of the day for children, most especially below the ages of 12. From 12 at least, they must have grown up. And then another thing is that you see children below that, yes, the women want to still protect them,
Okay.
but then they will tell them to put on their seatbelt while sitting in the front. But at that age, their height is not up to. You see a child putting seatbelt as if he wants to commit suicide because it will be on the neck instead of shoulder, which is not right. So these are the things that we have observed and we have advocated for. We take our campaigns to different fora, market, parks, churches, malls, and any other opportunity we find ourselves. We propagate.
Now, talking about measures that has been taken by the Federal Road Safety Corporation, what specific measures have been put in place to actually ensure the safety of women on the roads?
Well, as I said before, we're talking of advocacy.
Okay.
This program that is on now is part of it,
Okay.
because those that didn't know, now they are aware that there's supposed to be child restraint in their vehicles.
Okay.
They know that they're not supposed to use phone while driving. They know that they're not supposed to beat traffic light. When they are being stopped, they don't have right of way. All these ones are things that we have been talking on radio and other media channels, social media inclusive. So at least those are the platforms that we can reach out
Okay. Now, we have heard you talk about restraint, safety, and women being more focused on driving rather than concentrating on their phone. Now, if you were to add, what more do you feel women can actually do to contribute to their own safety on the road? And what advice do you have for them? Because you have said some, so what more can you add to that?
Well, if I will add to that, women should learn to check their vehicles
Okay.
before they set out for the day's business. At most cases, you find women waving for other public without being mindful who they are for help, which it could endanger their lives. But if such vehicles were checked before they go out of the house, then you find out that some faults would have been detected.
Okay.
Just basic checks, like the water in the radiator, the fluids in the brake, the lighting system, and
Okay.
things like that, even the fan belt. So even by the time it has a mark on it, you know that any moment it can cut off. It can cause overheating, the gasket can burn, and you are stranded. Then it becomes an issue.
Okay.
What if it is an odd time? That person is vulnerable to all forms of, at the mercy of criminals. So that's it.
Okay. Now, the next question here is what role does the Federal Road Safety Corps play in supporting women who may feel unsafe or vulnerable while traveling? Because you talked about the fact that there are certain things that women may not do that could actually lead to them being unsafe or being in a dangerous position. So let's say they find themselves in this unsafe situation. What measures have FRSC actually put in place to address them?
Well, in the first place, if such a thing happens and they want assistance,
Okay.
we have emergency numbers 122
Okay.
that they can call, and then that vehicle is evacuated from that location to a safer place.
Okay.
Better for her than waiting that until when somebody comes to give one form of assistance or the other. We know the situation in the country now, that nowhere is a safe haven again. So once if they do that, there will be immediate remedy. By the time the vehicle leaves there, she will be asked where she wants the vehicle to be taken to. And the road safety has a capacity. We have our recovery vehicles all over the place. If she calls, they will direct the nearest command that has that facility to go to come to our aid. So
Okay. Now, you've talked about the fact that, yes, the women can call the emergency number. Now, let's talk about the safety tips that you have for women that move or drive during the nighttime. Do you have safety tips for them?
well, traveling at night,
Especially when they are alone.
yes, movement or traveling at night is what road safety tries to discourage
Okay.
because of the eminent dangers that come with it, poor visibility,
Okay.
and in case you are in danger, like you are involved in a crash, you may not have quick assistance because he who has to help need to be secured too, and then he has to watch out to confirm and ensure that that place is secured for him to go and assist. That's it. That's why we said better start your trip early
Okay.
so that you arrive
On time.
on time than
Okay.
starting late when you'll be there alone and no immediate assistance in case of any emergency.
Okay. So we have kind of been focusing on women that drive. Now, you know that not a lot of people have their own cars. So, what about the women that use public transportation? What safety measures should women use when they ply the public transports?
Well, as they are aware of what we're advocating for now, and they see a driver trying to toil around with their lives, they can talk to the driver.
Okay.
Or if the driver still remains adamant, when they get to the nearest enforcement personnel, they can stop and report the driver, and action will be taken definitely. Because we are not like the road safety, we are not interested in going about picking dead bodies at crash scenes.
True.
It's rather prevented than looking for a remedy,
Okay.
yes, of mitigation.
All right. Now, away from that, let's talk about the collaboration the Federal Road Safety Corps has with other organizations or community groups. When we started, you were trying to talk about your collaborations with markets and other places. So, can you give us more insight on these collaborations that Federal Road Safety Corporation has with organizations and community groups?
Yes, like the community groups,
Okay.
we have what is called the post-crash care.
Okay.
Yes, these are people who have identified the some accident-prone areas
Okay.
where some interested members of such communities come to enroll, and then they were trained. They were trained on how to assist
Okay.
when accident happen within their area, and then they have this our emergency number. They call that there is something like that in our area. Then at least we have been directed of location, and within the shortest time possible, our men will go there for rescue.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the resources and support system that are available to women who may experience harassment or dangerous situations on the road. Because it's something we get to hear every day. A woman enters a car, she talks about the fact that somebody was touching her inappropriately, or she's walking after coming down from a vehicle, she gets chased down. So, what support systems are available for women who may experience harassment or dangerous situations on the road?
Well, I would say the regulations or the laws are not being specific on that.
Okay.
Rather, we should take responsibility of where we find ourselves. We have to be very careful
Okay.
where we go and the time we move.
The time we move.
It does it. So that on its own is will reduce some of these incidences, so to say. Yes. But
Okay.
then, as we have always said, prevention is better than cure.
All right. Okay, now let's talk about the education aspect now. How does FRSC educate women about road safety through campaigns or outreach programs like this one?
Well, you know, crashes on our road
Okay.
doesn't segregate,
True.
doesn't know gender, doesn't know the old, the young, the rich, or the poor.
Okay.
It happens to everybody. And the advocacy is not just being specific or targeted at women. Everybody is involved. Yes. Like, for instance, I can recall an incident based on my own experience. When my wife was driving, she had a call, and then she was with my son in the car, and then she picked the phone. She wanted to talk. And my son said, I will tell my daddy that you are picking phone while driving.
Okay.
Yes. So just imagine a small boy taking that observation based on probably hearing me discussing one or two things. If he grows up, he has learned something that is wrong to pick phone while driving.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So, how can women report on safe conditions or incidents on the road to the FRSC? And what should they expect from the reporting process?
Well, as I said, we have desk officers, we have offices that they can receive complaints,
Okay.
provided they give the right information. Yes, because if somebody drives wrongly, you stand the right to report. But then, if you are called upon to come and say where did it happen and the time and location, and you are able to state it and it's established, the person goes in for it. That's it. So, even if the person harasses them by dangerous driving, because one thing with women is, if you harass them or you intimidate them on the road, they get confused and they will be stopped. They won't know what to do.
Okay.
That's why at times, if they are in difficult situation, you are telling them, do this, do that. They get confused and they'll come out of the car and leave it there. Or they will remove the key and give you that you should do it for them. Most times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's your final word to the woman listening to you out there? How can she be safer on the road? Final words.
Well, quick one. Learn to check your vehicles. That's what we call first parade. Before you move out, to avoid being stranded. If you are moving out, move early. If you are going for a meeting for 9 o'clock, by 8 you should leave home. Not that few minutes to 9, that's when you start rushing. That will make you to do some funny things that may not be pleasant on the road. That may either risk your life or other people's life.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for being part of the program. All right, today on the show we had Corps Commander Paul Gua, who is the Zonal Head of Motor Vehicle Administration for FRSC. Thank you so much once again for being part of the program. And just so you know, this has been a Green Light Initiative radio awareness program that is proudly supported by the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety. Now, the focus today has been on women's self-defense and safety on the road, and we were looking at insights and strategies. Until next time, my name is Benedicta Henshaw. Thanks for listening.